If you have one showing and one offer on the first day on the market and it's 15% under ask, it's never coming together.
No.
Never, ever, ever. The sellers just aren't doing this every single day. They don't know where value is, and they do believe that if they got this one showing, one offer, that second showing means second offer.
30, 45 days later, they're like, hey, remember the person at that price? I kind of am, I'm okay with that price now.
Welcome to the Tom Storey Show with Steve Karrasch and Tom Storey, where we discuss everything real estate or whatever else is on our minds.
Welcome back to the Tom Storey Show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Steve, for the people watching on YouTube today, you look like you're in a new space. And I actually want to give you, look at this. Let's just take a look. Give us a review of this new space. What's going on here?
Welcome. This is my new studio, office, old studio, office. Well, old office, new studio. Anyway, this is where I'm going to be shooting my videos from now on. So
look at you.
I spent time and effort on it, particularly with the, what do you call these, Easter eggs in the background? Yeah, good fun. The cat made it. And this is a whiskey distilled. I was going to say brewed, not brewed, distilled right here in Surrey. And then a few of my favorite books, most notably, The Road Less Stupid. Which is the best title of all time. I actually didn't even really like the book that time. I really like the title.
Well, so, I'm glad that the cat is making an appearance again, and we haven't lost the cat for all your OG viewers of your main channel. But that's exciting. And, I actually have so much I want to talk about today. It's going to be a big one.
Point out one more thing. I want to say thank you to former guest Braden Wheatcroft to help me with the lighting, because look at this. I don't know if you could tell, but I got the lighting is correct too. So welcome everyone.
I think Steve's actually a good example for anybody in any industry that wants to start a YouTube channel and doesn't know what to do. Like, Steve, for 4 years you were using an iPhone 11 to record the videos, like a cheap little microphone in a makeshift office. And I mean, now you finally, you've leveled up. Finally, you've got the nice stuff. But
it's still a makeshift office, but you can't see this side of it.
It looks good. But now your face is much more clear to the viewers, which might actually hurt your viewership on your main channel. Sure. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. We got a lot to discuss on this episode, and I want to just start with market talk because we got lots of topics we can get to today, but I want to hear what's going on in your market. Steve, also, you guys going through the heat wave in Vancouver that we're getting here in Toronto? Not market wise, just actual heat.
It's been warm. Yeah, it's been warm. I think it's supposed to cool off for the weekend here coming up by the time this is out.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's been warm. It's been near 30 plus degrees. I hate it when they say feels like whatever.
But that's a number you need to know.
It doesn't feel like 45. It feels like the friggin' temperature that it is now. It might have a little bit more humidity, but this is what 30 degrees feels like with a little humidity. Stop it with that's like they can go right where we were talking about last episode where you can pound sand with your the real inflation or real value, that feels like can beat it. It's 35 degrees. It's 35 degrees.
Somebody gave me a really good breakdown on that calculation from an economic standpoint. But the one thing that wasn't in there at all was the cost of borrowing money. And I thought okay, but is that not real? Is that not a thing that we should be focusing on as well? Also tell you, this heat wave we're going through here in Toronto, it is stinking hot. I'm wearing a sweater today because I live in a house in Toronto that is 3 stories and the basement is ice cold. The main floor is perfect, and the upstairs is basically 40 degrees.
Yeah,
these old Toronto homes, you just every level you go to, you got to figure it out. But what are you seeing in your business right now? My summer month has actually been all right so far in terms of getting things done for people. What are you finding day to day right now in the actual real estate buying and selling side of things?
We're getting stuff done. It feels very average at the moment. So the last 3 weeks in a row, I've brought 1 listing on per week, which is about right for summer.
Yeah.
If you're doing things right. Each one of them has received at least 1 offer. Actually, no, each one of them has received more than 1 offer, sometimes just not in multiples. So I have one that it's looking good, went into multiple offers. I have another one that's just got a release because the agent didn't pre-qualify their people. Shocker.
Right. Right.
And then I have another one today that hit hit 2 days ago. Got the offer last night. Going to review the offer today. The only trouble with that I'm finding is like, we know all these offers are going to come in quite low, which is fine.
Yep. That's where they start.
Do you know how hard it is to convince a seller first day on the market that they should take 10% under price? Like, dude, bring me 100%. It might even be worth what you're offering. Maybe.
I know.
And maybe we're not going to get there first day on the market. Your seller wouldn't take it first day on the market. My seller's not going to take it first day on the market.
Earlier this year, we had a listing that went to the market at $900,000, and day 2 on the market, we got an offer for $850,000. And I actually thought the offer was in and around where it needed to be. And it was interesting because I knew the agent on the other side very well. And she's like, listen, I know this is what it's worth. You know this is what it's worth. Your guys should take the offer. The first offer is always the best offer. She brought up that line, which I don't always agree with. But anyways. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. And what's funny is we did end up selling that property for $850,000 on day 26 on the market to somebody else. And but my seller would not, under any circumstance, have taken it. It was too early in the process. Right? It just wasn't going to happen. I was like, maybe you're right that the first offer is sometimes the best offer, but that doesn't mean the seller is going to be open to accepting it so early in the process. So I guess if you're one of those buyers that's looking to come in lower, whether you believe that's true market value or not, it's just harder to get a seller to be open to it in the first really 7 to 10 days.
If you have one showing and one offer on the first day on the market and it's 15% under ask, it's never coming together.
No.
Never, ever, ever. So
but you know what happens sometimes though? 30, 45 days later, they're like, hey, remember that person at that price? I kind of am, I'm okay with that price now. Can you call them again? You call them, oh, they bought something else. Okay, now they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. And now we're looking at lower value. So I'm not saying they're wrong. They're necessarily even wrong with their value. Now, I think the value is this particular offer. I think it is a meet in the middle type of offer. And we'll find out if they're there or not. But it's just so tough. The sellers just aren't doing this every single day. They don't know where value is. And they do believe that if they got this one showing, one offer, that second showing means second offer. And you and I know that's probably not the case.
Not always the case. Not usually the case.
Let me turn it around, though. I've had this happen twice in the last month for sure, where we received an offer low. We're negotiating it back and forth, and we counter. So the offer comes in from the buyer. My sellers counter back, and then the buyer counters back.
Okay.
Right. So this is third time around. And then we receive a second offer. And now we go into competing bids. And the first time, the original offerer lost when they could have had it for less than what the property actually sold for. And then this second time, the original offerer came back to the table, but then basically came back at a much higher price than we had just offered them because now they were competing. So it turns out they were trying to play hardball, but they really, really wanted the property.
That's the thing too. Like sometimes when you do go in with that really low starting offer, then we get to register the offer and it notifies everyone that's seen the property. And sometimes that can encourage a second offer to come forward. And we've had a few
like 2 or 3 days. Sorry.
In between.
Just call me TK. We've had the offer come in. And then it's going back and forth, and it's taking 3 or 4 days, and then another offer
in the middle of it, during a buyer sign back to the seller where it opens it up again. Yeah.
Either way, I mean, you can always rescind too, right? So if we write you back an offer, I can phone you or write you an email and say we do rescind our previous counter offer.
Are you sure about that? If there's a irrevocable on it and it's dated?
I don't know what the term irrevocable means.
Okay. Our markets are different, so we'll keep it at that. But I didn't think you could rescind.
It's irrevocable. Offers are not irrevocable.
Irrevocable means it's valid until this date and time, and after that date and time, it automatically becomes null and void. if it's not responded to or countered back or accepted during that time period.
Yeah. So that's where we have an offer open until this time.
We're using this. It's the same thing.
Except we can revoke it before that time if you don't accept.
Yeah, I'm not aware of the legalities on that in Ontario. I'll do some research, but I didn't think you could revoke. I thought when you sent it in, that's a thing. Because we always tell our sellers, like, if you're interested in working with one, never let it die. Never let it die. Let's counter it back and keep this thing going to continue the conversation.
I say that on both sides, with buyers and with sellers. Like, never let negotiations die on your end. Mm-hmm. Even if it's sending back the last full, exact offer you sent back last time.
Yep.
Like, if you cross the price and put it, no, it's this price, you never let it die on your side.
Just keep it going.
Way too many people let it die on their side.
Well, how are you feeling though about the summer market? Are you seeing any optimism in your market? Is inventory now actually slowing down because it's the summer and less people are listing homes? Anything unusual that you're seeing? Is detached still stacked up with inventory, or condos? Because our markets are different in that way.
Mm-hmm. We've kind of seen the peak. We never hit 10,000 active listings.
Okay.
And things are starting to come or go very sideways. It was actually, I was looking at the stats yesterday for like the month up to date stats. And it was like last month and last year and this month. So like the year over year, month over month, we're all almost identical. So this July, almost identical to last year for both listings and sales. And so
what
identical
about prices?
June. And I wasn't looking at that number.
That's the only thing people care about.
No.
What did the prices do?
I care about.
I don't care what you care about.
How busy the market is.
I
did see a comment on my main channel the other day talking about, seller's market. And then the public thinks a seller's market is over asking offers.
No, it's just an inventory thing.
It's an inventory thing, but it's also then like
more
prices
over asking offers
up.
happen in seller's market typically, but it doesn't mean it's a seller's market.
But prices can go up and properties can continue to sell under asking because the next price is just asking prices higher.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was actually a big report that came out in our market where I forget what the most recent number was, but I think it was like 70% of for all the homes that are selling in the Greater Toronto area, roughly 70% of them are selling under the asking price. And just like when everything was selling over the asking price, because we were all listing low on purpose and holding offer dates, most of the conversation with sellers now is like, let's list at this price and leave some negotiation room because we know we're going to, like, you're almost strategizing now to sell under asking the same way you were strategizing to sell over asking last time. You're trying to get to a value.
The super tricky part with that, what I'm finding is you have to price so low that you actually get the showings.
I know. And then it's like,
and then it's still 10% lower than that. So you're like, it's very frustrating because the seller's like, I don't want to go that low. I said, listen, we got to go this low or we're going to get no activity. So they're taking my advice. But then when the offers actually come in, everybody's like, well, buyer's market. I'm like, but we're priced 10% under the last sale already.
It's an interesting thing, right? Because I just did 2 price changes this week and the same thing. They're like, well, if we go to this price, I don't want to sell under that price. I'm like, we need to go there just to get people through the door. And then the offer you're going to get is going to start way lower than that. And we're going to have to get them as close as possible to that price. But even then, it usually ends up a little bit lower than that price you went to. That's just the market that we're in.
So there's a strategy right now that I'm usually employing with most of my sellers where we get an offer come in and it's low. I tell them, hey, can't blame them. Buyer's market, they're going to try. But I encourage the first counter to not be very much of a drop originally. And the reason for that is in my market in particular, we've talked about this before, where you want to find out if they're serious or not. Mm-hmm. And because so few of the buyers in Surrey are pre-qualified properly, I'm talking about with their agents and mortgage brokers and doing the proper steps in advance, I want to find out now if you're going to beat it. I don't want to find out 10 business days later with financing conditions that you're going to beat it.
Once they've tied up the property.
Yeah. So if you're only doing, like, maybe we'll accept your price, but you've got 10 business day conditions in it. So if you've tied up my property for the first 2 weeks of my listing,
Right.
I'd rather find out now that you're not serious than later on. Now, maybe the second counter is going to come down more after we see what
So
you're
saying if you have a listing at $1 million and an offer comes in at 910, even though you think maybe the true value of this property is 950, you're going to tell your seller, hey, don't go down to 960 on the first counter, 985, 990, come down a little, show them you're willing to play, but don't give them too much. Because it's on the other side though, and this is a conversation we're having with the buyers, it's the same thing. It's like, hey, we think the value is in this range. Let's go lower than that. Let's just see how far they come down. But I wonder if you go back and if you have more willingness to actually come down more, if you don't at least come a bit more on the first counter, well, the buyer will just go like, okay, they're not ready to actually negotiate. I'm going to beat it and move on to something else. This episode of the Tom Storey Show is brought to you by Realty Ninja. Real estate agents, your clients should be proud of your website if you're going to feature their home on it. It's not 2005 and it's time to up your game. You need to have a website that is mobile friendly, that has SEO optimization, that people really want to actually go to and learn more about you. And that's where Realty Ninja comes in. They've built websites for thousands of real estate agents in Canada. We know a ton of people that have listened to the show have created their websites with Realty Ninja and they love it. And the best part, viewers and listeners of the show get 20% off your first year. So go to realtyninja.com/Tom to learn more. That's realtyninja.com/Tom. And oh, guess what? You don't pay until you launch your website. Go check them out because they're awesome. And now back to the podcast.
Also the same the other way.
Sure.
So that's the point. So like, say you give your example, 910 versus $1 million, we come down to whatever, 989 or something like that. Then they can do a few things. They can walk away, which is what they're usually doing, which tells me, I mean, if you're coming in with a 910, take it or leave it, again, first day on the market, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't actually think you're that serious of a buyer, to tell you the truth, because you probably, if we all know 950 is value, then we're probably going to see some counters. But then I'll have like 911. And it'll be like, okay, well, this obviously isn't going to come together.
Okay, in that scenario, fine.
But if you're now at, okay, guys, 935. And it's like, okay, so now we have some movement. Now we're going to grind through this. The buyer and seller both have to feel like they're getting the best deal. And I get that. So now negotiations start. But I always put it out there because I'm getting actually a lot of offers.
Accepted offers or just offers?
No, receiving offers.
Receiving offers, yeah.
And like I had one that it was not far apart. And I've actually had this probably 4 or 5 times this year. We send back a realistic counteroffer, expecting another counteroffer back, expecting that we're just going to have to do the thing.
Yep.
And the agent just disappears. They don't respond to me anymore.
The buyer's agent.
Yeah. I don't know if their clients buggered off. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but they just disappear. And like I said, I would much rather find out if they're serious on day 1 of negotiation than day 14 of conditions.
You know what I'm finding is that sellers are really fixating on, and this is a conversation I've been having a lot recently, is everybody, whether it's buyer or seller, wants to feel like they've won the negotiation. And I'm not even talking about selling under asking price or anything, just that like most sellers know they're going to sell under the asking price, but they still want to win. And the thing that has been brought up to me a lot by my clients and even the buyer's realtor is, hey, okay, the buyer initially came in at this price, whatever that number is. Our asking price is this. We've come down this much. They've only come up this much. And it's like, I want to win where the offer started and where my price started. Yeah. The sale price, it's like they're so fixated on winning that like, well, they haven't come up as much as we've come down.
Because the most common negotiation tactic is to meet in the middle.
Right. That's the thing. Everyone's fixated on like, well, let's make this fair. And then I had one last night that we ended up getting it accepted, but $3,000 difference in price. We've been on the market for 2 months. Nothing has sold in the building in 45 days. There's nothing to compare it to. And I'm like, guys, let's go. Anyways,
$3,000.
It came together, but it wasn't that they didn't like the price. It was just, hey, that $3,000 more gets us to, we've each equally come down and come up.
Mm-hmm. As a tip, I guess, to buyers, sellers, agents, everybody involved, that's one thing that you can kind of prep yourself for. So I will tell my clients, like, listen, this is going to come down. This may come down to $2,000 or $3,000 one way or the other.
Yeah. And
we're talking about a $1.4 million home. Like, guys, let's not be stupid here. You know, $3,000 can change. The stats come out next month, a different number. And we're not talking a $3,000 drop. We're talking a $30,000 price reduction. So it is very wise for a lot of people that when they do get a counter offer, accept the other person's counter offer, at least maybe on price. Maybe you change some other things, but you do give them that win, particularly if it's a seller looking at a buyer's offer.
In this market, for sure.
Because a buyer has conditions. So if a buyer has conditions and they accept your last price as the seller, right? So the buyer accepts the seller's last price. They're always going to wonder if they could maybe have got a little more. So if you as the seller are smart enough to accept their being the last price, they're going to feel like they accepted our offer. So it's actually going to be more likely that you get conditions off. Now, is that a massive amount? No. But is it 2 or 3% of transactions, 5% of transactions? Probably.
Well, it's probably less likely that during that conditional period, if it's an inspection or something, that they don't come back asking for everything. Like all the things that even wouldn't normally ever be done, they'll ask for it in this market condition, right?
Yeah. Thankfully, I haven't had a lot of long inspection reports lately.
I just did probably a video that I'm most proud of, and it will be out a day or so before this comes out. But I wanted to just talk about it quickly in terms of the philosophy behind. This is something that was probably talked about 75 years ago in Canadian real estate, but I just wanted to bring it back. Are you aware of the 3 Ps, Steve? Can you guess what the 3 Ps are of real estate?
I don't know what this is.
Okay. So
where'd the pee go? It's running down my leg. Isn't that an old joke? From
peeing on people's parade is your new saying.
Oh,
so
yes.
It's not that. The 3 Ps. So just to give us some context, the idea is this is why your home is not selling. And I made a full video on this, and it's like the best.
Oh, I know these 3 Ps. Hang on. Can I guess them?
Okay. Yep.
Price.
Correct.
Price and price. So 3 Ps why your home is not selling.
Well, price is the most important, but you had to put 2 others in there as well. So the 3 Ps are price, property type, and presentation. So this is the thing that if you're on the market right now, or you're thinking of coming to the market, you have to look at these 3 categories, and there's subcategories, which I go in very much in depth in my video. You can go watch this after the podcast. But each one, you have to be very realistic. So let's start with category number 1, which is property type. Well, based on the property type you have and where it's located, what is the overall market doing for your type of property? And this is where we get into micro markets, and we talk about days on market, months of inventory, list price versus sale price. How comparable are you actually to the other properties that are on the market? If it's a lot size thing, if it's bedrooms, you can go down the list of everything we've talked about before. That's it. Like, are you actually comparing yourself to the right other properties, and what is going on for your type of property? Because a 1-bedroom condo is a completely different market than a semi-detached home in the East End of Toronto, right? So that's kind of category number 1. Category number 2 is presentation. And this comes down to, how does the property show? Is it professionally staged? Do you just have nice furniture? Is it just put together nicely? Like, just what does it feel like when people actually walk in? What does it smell like? Because that's important. When that throws people off when you walk into the house. You're like, whoa, Like, what is that?
The offensive cooking odor is legit.
Well, whatever the smell is, I'm just saying, like, you got to be aware of the fact that
Poor dog. People
are going to walk. Yeah, unless you're looking for a deal to reno, that's when you buy the cat pee property. But if you're going to buy it to live in it with your family, it's just going to throw people off when they walk in. They'd be like, well, okay, I can't even deal with this.
Can I put out a public service announcement for anybody with a dog?
Yep.
Your house smells like dog.
Okay.
Not mine. No, it does. Trust me, it does.
Your house probably has its own smells, but you completely throw me off track here. so
you're like, wait, I have a dog.
I do have a dog.
I'm just saying. Everybody says, oh, I have a dog. My house doesn't smell like dog.
And then the third category under presentation is the digital presence of the property, right? Are the photos actually good? Do you have floor plans? Do you have a dollhouse virtual tour? Do you have a video? All the things that buyers could potentially see that will get them to the point that they actually get inside the property. Because if they don't get inside the property, it does not matter. We've been talking about these vanity metrics a lot recently on the show. Like, it doesn't matter. I actually spoke with someone the other day that said that they have their cottage for sale and they've had lots of online traction, but no showings. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, well, lots of people have seen it online and liked the property, but no one's seen it. I'm like, okay, well, there's a disconnect here somewhere, right?
They're seeing it and they're not liking the price for the presentation and coming in and seeing the property.
And then when you go to the presentation, it's like, okay, well, what's the main photo you used, right? As you go through the photos, is it all sporadic and you're showing me like the second bathroom upstairs as the third photo and then I'm in the living room? Like, no, like, walk me through the house in a nice way of doing it. Once those first two are sorted out and you're being realistic with do I have a good presentation of my property through all those factors based on what my property is and the market conditions, am I aware of that? Then you get to price. And with price, again, 3 subcategories. Well, what's your pricing strategy? Are you taking the strategy that me and Steve have talked about for the first 20 minutes of this conversation, which is, hey, I'm going to go to the market here, leave a bit of negotiation room. That's the strategy based on the market conditions that we're in. Or, like, I'm bidding on a house this afternoon, Steve, for clients, and I think there's going to be more than 5 offers on it because it's a totally renovated detached house in a prime neighborhood that is listed low with an offer date. Mm-hmm. But that seller decided to use that strategy because they thought it was best for them, and it's probably going to be working for them. I know I'm going to be one of the many offers on it this afternoon. So you got to pick your strategy. Are you using the right strategy in the current market conditions? And then the final 2 would be, well, what's sold and what are you competing with, which we've talked about in depth on this show, so I'm not going to go into it. But those 3 Ps, as old as that saying is, I think they're still very valid. And if you're still sitting on the market and you're looking around and you're like, well, what can I do? Is another open house going to do the trick? I'll tell you, no, it's not. Not if you've been sitting on the market for 60 days. Mm-hmm. Are you presented well? Do you actually understand what's going on for your property type? Are you getting the right advice? And then, as we all know, the biggest thing is going to be pricing and the strategy in which you use for your pricing. You think I left anything out there?
I don't think so. No, I think that's about right. Like, price does tend to be everything. And I'll give you an example. We worked for a client recently who had for sure listening to this right now, who had a very high strata fee on their property. Mm-hmm. And so the plan was to offer a very large credit back to the buyer and get the property sold that way. Mm-hmm. This is virtually the same as everybody else's strata fee now because we're going to give you a credit for many years.
Right.
Didn't work that way. So the only way we could get the property, not the only way, but the way we ended up getting the property sold was we took the credit out and just lowered the price.
Yeah.
And then nobody minded the buyers that actually went into multiple offers. The buyers then did not mind the strata fee if the price was right.
So how would you?
It was virtually the same thing. It's identical.
At the end of the day, it's the same, but one got them to move versus the other that didn't get people to do something.
Which is
so I guess of those 3 Ps, I mean, we know price is obviously the most important and the strategy in which you are using your pricing. What do you think? Pricing is 70% of the weight of those 3 Ps?
Without pricing, there's nothing else. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
but
like, you can have everything beautiful, but if nobody sees if everybody's like, oh, that's just offside on price.
yeah, I
That's
guess.
it.
I guess it's more that the other 2 Ps don't matter if the price is not where it needs to be, or they don't matter as much.
Let's say pricing is 70%, but then you don't have the price right. Well, then the next 30% doesn't matter anyway.
You got to get them to the second.
You got to be 100% right now.
Right.
Oh, but, man, we've got a lot of topics in our catch-up episodes here.
You know that old saying from Rich, where there's knowing what to do and then there's doing what you know. I think that's the thing. It makes sense though, right? It's like, I know what I should do. The question is, am I actually doing it? And I feel like the real estate side of things is such an emotional decision because everything we've just talked about throws out the window if a buyer walks in and they just love the house, right? Like we can break it down as much as we want. If someone walks in, they're emotionally attached, or their parents grew up on the street and they want to be in this area, or their cousins are in the school district and they want to get into it. All those things throw out the window, and there's one like most important thing. But I think there's a disconnect sometimes between sellers probably know what they need to do, but there's still that little bit of hope that, well, it could just happen, versus doing the thing to get to the end result that they're not going to be thrilled with. They're going to be like content with in this market conditions.
Some sellers just need to feel the market for a while, which is unfortunate because it costs them money right now because the market's going down. If you need to feel the market and the market's going up, that's a good thing for you. If you need to feel the market and the market's coming down, you're keying your own car.
Did you know, Stephen, that your favorite YouTube personality and speaker, are you a part of his online schooling? I don't know. We'll find out today. Jordan Peterson actually put up his home for sale in Toronto. Cashing out. And I want to read you the quote, because I think this is the quote that's going to be like, I mean, people love him or hate him anyways, but as soon as you're successful anywhere in the world, if you have any sense, you move to the United States, Peterson said, because everything because everything is way easier here and you don't get hassled as much. So that was his quote to the Toronto Star when he put his home on the market. Really cool house, by the way. Not a huge lot, but really, well, you know what's funny is as soon as I saw the address, I texted you this. My client, like, I helped buy the house a few years ago, literally looking at this house across the street. I wonder if my client knows that Jordan Peterson was living there this whole time, because I wonder how much he's actually back in Canada. But
yeah, well, hey man, that guy got the brunt of a lot of it, and I agree. There's a whole lot of very successful people that move to the States once they have a certain amount of money.
How many wildly successful Canadians stay in Canada? Drake's probably the only one that I can think of. Did I hear everyone else, media, actor, they're all living in the States.
The UK recently upped all their taxes on all their wealthy people, and the exodus is much greater than they thought it would be. Because believe it or not, I know pay your fair share, guys, but the rich people pay way more than their fair share. So you end up screwing yourself by increasing taxes. But can I make my quick political comment here?
Go for it. It wouldn't be an episode if you didn't chime in.
All you elbows up, I'm calling you elbows up people because I'm not an elbows up person, that loved the current prime minister that we now have, who just implemented the exact same policies that the big orange angry man down south implemented. And now for some reason, because it's us, it's okay to do it. But if it's him doing it, it's not. So Mark Carney yesterday announced steel tariffs on imports to try and prop up our Canadian steel industry over top of cheap foreign steel, which is the exact same thing Donald Trump is doing. So I hope you enjoy your Donald Trump to the north, terrible human being that is saying all of one thing and then doing other things. I don't know. I think we got exactly what we deserve in this freaking country, and I don't know. It's very, very frustrating. It's extremely frustrating to think. You know, how many Canadians do you think don't view themselves as foreigners to the U.S.?
I mean, you can make
like we're foreigners to the U.S.
You could make the same point about Americans thinking about Canada. They don't feel like they're foreigners.
I think they think we're super foreign compared to them.
You think so?
Like, yeah, like we think we have the right to this U.S. economy. I don't know. It's just hilarious to me. And you know what's even more hilarious is the CBC came out and they did not, excuse me, I'm a little gassy today. They did not call them tariffs. They called them measures. So we're taking steel measures against other countries, flooding our labor market and our market with cheaper products. So we're taking measures against them. But Donald Trump's tariffs are terrible. So I just want to point out the absolute hypocrisy of it all. And now we can get back to housing.
There was Paulia put out a tweet about all of this. And one of the first comments, which I have to say was very funny. Someone was like, if you have a problem, you should ask your local MP. Which I did think was kind of funny because obviously Polyev is not currently an actual MP. This episode of the Tom Storey Show is brought to you by Carson Dunlop. Real estate agents, you spend months, if not years, earning your clients' trust. You don't want to lose it on inspection day. For over 45 years, top agents across Canada have relied on Carson Dunlop for home inspections that are clear, calm, and client first. Their inspections don't just find issues, they know how to explain them in a way that will protect your client and your credibility. If you haven't worked with Carson Dunlop yet, now is the time to find out why Canada's best trust Carson Dunlop for home inspections. You can learn more at carsondunlop.com. I will also tell you, in the Toronto real estate market, whenever I see a pre-home inspection by Carson Dunlop, I know my buyers can trust it. And Carson Dunlop is a company we've used so many times over the years for our buyers and sellers. carsondunlop.com. And now, back to the podcast. Okay. As
we're screwing that guy again too with the ballots again. Hey, they're going to have like 95 people on his ballot again.
Oh, again? Oh, in the where he's doing in Alberta?
Yeah.
That's happening again, eh? Okay. Yeah. I have a crazy story for you that I learned about recently. This wasn't my client, but it was someone within my network that I talked about. And I had never heard this before, and I wanted to just make this. I'm slightly concerned if I talk about it, there's going to be some bad apples that see it as an opportunity. Do you guys is your probate rules the same in BC as it is in Ontario? Like if someone passes away and the property goes into probate and all the taxes have to be sorted out, that you can put it up for sale, but you can't close, the new buyer can't close on until probate is complete. Is that similar to you guys?
Yes. Most of the time we will wait for probate before we put it on the market because it's a much safer way to do it.
Correct.
We did one last year where we did not wait for probate. And let me tell you, there was stuff filed incorrectly and it just turned into an absolute, now we got it together, thankfully.
Yeah.
One deal ever we closed in escrow. So I actually had a deal once where probate was very hard to get. So we closed in escrow, the buyer moved in, they paid for the property in full, but the lawyers held the money in escrow until probate came. But generally speaking, yes. There's everybody in the comments. I actually did something on my channel recently about estate planning because we do a lot of estates. And everybody's there's always comments like, oh, you can totally sell a property subject to probate. You can, yes.
Yes, you can.
Should you? Absolutely not. You should probably wait for probate.
We did quite a few actually during like COVID times where probate was taking so long, like everything else. And we had to extend a few closings and things like this. But okay, in this scenario, I'll give you kind of like the context to this. Somebody through a family member had an opportunity to buy a house off market. Okay. The previous seller had obviously passed away and there was only one person in line. It was like the nephew or something was the only family member left. So it was very clear that, and they're like, okay, we'll buy this house subject to probate because it's still going on. Only one family member. This is going to be clean, no issues. Okay. So apparently what some low of the low scammers, losers are doing. I don't like when people name call in our comments, but in this scenario, I'm going to use these names.
They're fraudsters.
They're fraudsters.
I know you told me about this. So they are
they?
They're blackmailers. They're not fraudsters.
Okay, fine. Blackmailers is probably the word that we should use. Basically, what happened in this situation, I'm sure this isn't the only one, is when someone passes away, the obituary is typically public. It can be found online. And what some of these people are doing is they're looking through the obituaries, and let's say their last name was Karrasch. Okay? If I'm the scammer or blackmailer, and I have the same last name as someone that has passed away, lots of similar last names here in Canada, I can put in a claim on the probate to say, no, I think that's my long lost relative, and I can hold the whole thing up. And in this scenario, it got delayed a year.
Mm-hmm.
And this person said to the one person that was truly the one, and because making a claim is not illegal, right? There are many situations probably where something goes into probate and there is a family member that they were trying to push out that makes a claim and it's totally legitimate, right?
Yeah.
But in this scenario, this was someone like, I think they were actually from Alberta. They were in Ontario, but they somehow connected all these dots, made this claim so that they couldn't close on the property because there was this claim on probate. And they basically said to the person, I'll go away if you pay me $5,000.
Which is blackmail.
But making the claim on probate is technically not illegal because that has to be there through the process where...
I might be wrong. It might be extortion.
Whatever it is, it's a shitty thing to do. It's the lowest of the low. And I think it got to the point where this guy was like, listen, like, I just want to sell you this house. I don't want to deal with this. I think he probably discussed with his lawyers. I don't know the ins and outs of actually what happened on that side, just from the buying side. And I'll just pay this guy to go away. And the lawyer was like, no, out of principle, you can't do it.
Dude,
don't pay this guy. Don't pay this loser.
That's negotiating with terrorists.
So it eventually got done, but it was delayed by 14 months from when the initial closing was supposed to happen because someone claimed a probate that they knew was not their family at all, but they did have the same last name as the person. Isn't that nuts?
That person is definitely just a fraudster criminal looking to be a fraudster criminal. So it's pretty terrible. But that's the problem we have, right? When we have these systems that are meant to be taken seriously, if somebody wants to take advantage of them, then they can just take advantage of them. So, that's going to happen with any system that's based on somewhat of an honor system. Right. And I think most of our country traditionally has been. And that's why there's so many people looking to take advantage of the things that are going on. So, I don't know. That's a terrible, terrible situation. I'd want to walk over there, find that guy, and give him the what for with my elbows up.
The reason that we're actually filming this slightly early today is because after this I got to go do CTV and it's on the new condo sales numbers. I just want to recap what's going on because there's two sides of the condo market right now. There's the new construction stuff and then there's the resale stuff, right? Listen to this. This is how dead the new construction market is. In Q2, there was 502 total units sold in the GTA. Sales were 91% below the 10-year average for the quarter. Developers are holding back. Only 3 new projects were launched in Q2 2025, totaling 891 units. There was 4 projects officially canceled, 719 units. And there's been 20 projects canceled since 2024. Some of them converting to purpose-built rentals instead of, they're still building something, but they've canceled the condo. The unsold inventory, that means not officially canceled yet project, but is launched at some point in the last few years, and you could theoretically still go in and buy right now, is up to 24,000 units, which is actually slightly down from where it was earlier this year. And your completed condo inventory, which we were talking with Winston about last week, This means building is complete, but you're still buying from the developer. There is 2,478 units in buildings that are completed that you could go buy right now and not have to wait 5 years for it to be ready. That is up 102% year over year. There was just 131 units sold in completed projects this quarter. So of those 2,478 that you could go in and buy right now, only 131 sold. Not sure if you want to run the months of inventory on that, Steve, but it ain't good. Now, all of this, I'm looking at this. Okay, actually, the widening price gap, this was interesting. The pre-sold units averaged a price per square foot of just under $1,200. So it's still hot, like so much higher. Where the resale units in new buildings average $903 per square foot. So there's almost a $300 per square foot price gap versus resale units in newer buildings versus the stuff that is available from the developer. It's just like there is nothing happening. There is
nothing
30.
built.
There's here's the thing. There's 31,000 units that are projected to complete this year.
Projected.
So that's
a good one.
Well, if they all close, right? If all the buyers
making fun of your pronunciation, but keep going.
Find the funds. And the 2026 forecast is that there'll be 18,000 more completions. That returns us closer to historical norms. But then you've got 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030. And it's like, for the people that want the market to crash, they're probably like jumping up and down hearing these numbers. This is going to put us in a really bad situation in 4 years if nothing is selling. Like, I get it. Me and you, amongst many others, have been telling people not to buy this stuff. But the reality is that if no one buys it, and as we learn, even these ones that are selling, it's mostly just end user downsizers. What are we going to do in a few years? Is there enough inventory and stuff coming in the next 2 years that it doesn't matter if nothing's built in 2027? Like, what years are actually going to matter? Is it going to be 2028, 2029?
Maybe if the immigration is virtually zero.
That's what I'm saying.
If population growth is virtually zero, maybe it won't be as bad.
Right.
Maybe. But let's look at it this way though. When they do start building again or start launching and whatever they need to do, pre-sales and all that stuff, what are they going to launch? Hopefully not more two bedrooms at 600 square feet.
I just don't know how they're going to, unless they change the model in which they sell these things. How can they launch any different? There's not enough downsizers other than maybe super high-end boutique, small luxury stuff like Daryl's building. There's not enough downsizers to sell at a 400 unit condo building that they're all willing to wait 5 years. Like,
you know what I'm seeing is really crazy in my neighborhood for new construction versus old. There's not that many condos in my area. But in the detached market, the houses that are being built are absolute monsters now. They're like 4,500 square feet, including basement, right?
Right.
Maybe more. And they're now selling for like 2.2 to 2.4, which is actually down. They were like 2.7 before. The resale market might not be as big a house, but it's a 3,800 square foot house.
Right.
Are selling for 1.6. So to build any new detached homes, you got to sell them for 2.2. But you can buy all day long a very equivalent 20-year-old home.
And is that gap worth it?
700 grand less? I mean, 700 grand. What is that? That's 5 times 7, $3,800 a month more.
Oh, in mortgage payment.
In mortgage payment to live in the new house? That's not worth it.
It depends on your
same neighborhood, same lot size.
Same neighborhood, same lot size, just nicer and newer.
I mean, the crazy thing I can't see right now is like in our neighborhood anyway, and most new construction, they're starting to build like 3 and 4 bathrooms on the top floor where the bedrooms are. So every bedroom has its own full bathroom. Maybe they split a Jack and Jill upstairs in two. So, but they're going to have at least, if they're 4 bedrooms up, they have at least 3 bedrooms on the top floor. So they're starting to build these houses.
You mean
now.
bathrooms?
Oh, sorry, bathrooms.
Yeah.
But they're starting to build these houses now at 8 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms. It's absolutely insane to me.
That's insane. 9 bathrooms.
You know what? Actually, I went in one that sold recently in my neighborhood. And
Steve, you said you could live with 1 bathroom. Now people are building 9.
I'm saying if you're bitching about affordable housing, you should be able to live with 1 bathroom. That's what I said. I want to also clarify something else I said with about the neighborhood specialist thing.
Oh,
but I'm just saying, like, and then you go up into these places, and then you're in a 5,000 square foot house, generally speaking, and the primary bedroom on the top floor is like 9 by 9, and you're like, I just spent $2.5 million on this house, and my bedroom for the person paying the mortgage is the same size as
all the others
down the street.
Right.
So
did that's what you wanted to clarify?
I want to clarify the neighborhood thing.
Okay.
I don't want to say that there's not value in a neighborhood specialist. I don't want to say there's no value in that or whatever. I think more what I want to focus on is the fact that anyone can say they are the neighborhood specialist, and if the public believes it, then they just are.
It's marketing.
It's marketing. That's what I'm trying to say. Like there's a lot of people that are like, well, I'm the Grandview Heights specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, no, you're not. You've got 4 sales this year. None of them are in Grandview Heights, but you have bus benches in the area or your office is down the street. Like that's what I mean by that whole thing. Like there's just not, the area specialist isn't what people think it is.
I think what you're trying to say is just because someone is good at marketing doesn't mean that they're necessarily good at sales. Sales and marketing are two completely different things.
Or that they're any more qualified in that area than anybody else. It's just they position themselves that way because they have no other value proposition, I guess you would say.
I saw a comment on, I don't know if it was our episode last week or the week before, but someone brought up this poll that was put out. It was done by one of the big polling companies here in Canada. And I actually thought like someone was trolling us because when I read it, I was like, this can't be true. But what it says is that over 50% of Canadians are looking to sell their home within the next 2 years, survey finds. Half of Canadians, this is done by Angus Reid, are looking to sell their home the next 2 years. Mathematically, I don't think that's ever happened in a 2-year period ever. And then I started digging a little bit deeper. And I'm going to be careful with my word choice here. But what I will say is just, it's such...
How many people was the survey? 819 people? What was it?
I don't actually know those numbers, but what is interesting to me is that this survey was paid for and conducted by a new platform that was being launched at the same point this survey came out. And what the survey is basically trying to say is lots of people are thinking about selling, and this new platform. And by the way, this is really good marketing. So I'm not knocking there's usually story and nuance behind everything.
What was the question? Would you like to move in the next 2 years? If you could afford a $1 billion dream home?
Right.
Yes, then yes.
Sure.
I would like to.
I didn't even look into that because when I read it, I'm like, there's something else going on here. And the platform that paid for this and then gave all the quotes on the article that says not sponsored, but like that's sponsored, was basically trying to say that, people spend more time choosing what car to buy versus interviewing real estate agents. And I get interviewed all the time against multiple other people. So I don't actually think that's true, but, I'm just going to hold my tongue on this because I don't want to get in trouble, but, I think the platform is actually good and it has a place that exists in the market. I'll hold my other thoughts on it for later once I see how things play out. But, just remember, every headline you see, there's usually something behind it. And in this case, even though I don't really believe what the survey says, it's also just, it was completely paid for by the person giving the quote on it, trying to promote their own business, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, because
wait a minute, Tom.
I appreciate marketing.
Wait. Would you like to move in the next 2 years?
Would I like to? Yes.
Okay.
If I could get a bigger house for the same price that my house.
100% of Canadians surveyed on the Tom Storey Show would like to move within the next 2 years. Stupid.
For home insurance of any type, I use Square One. Go to squareone.ca/the Tom Storey Show to buy your tenant, landlord, or homeowner insurance policy and save $20. That's squareone.ca/the Tom Storey Show and save $20.
Well, the good news is, Steve, we
should put this as a channel.
Would you like to move the next 2 years?
Whatever on our poll thing to see if it's in line.
Okay.
Would you find the question that they asked and let's put it on our thing, and maybe we can do that before it even comes out here, and then people can reverse back to our poll.
Well, Canada added a whole bunch of jobs, mostly part-time, and it's not looking like any rate cuts are on the horizon anymore. How are they always so wrong on these job reports? Wildly off. Expecting none, huge number. Yes, I get most. Is it just the summer jobs coming in, like the summer kids and students getting these part-time jobs?
Jobs or what? Everything's moving to 2 part-time jobs instead of 1 full-time job.
Interesting.
Right? There's a lot of that. There's a lot of companies that benefits kick in at 32 hours or something. So there's a lot of companies that will only let their people have 28 hours to make sure that they don't get some overtime. Like, it's, I don't know. The labor market is messed. And does adding 17 more skip the dishes guys this month count? I don't know.
Well, if you want to get your food on time.
Okay, so jobs added. How many jobs were lost? I don't know. I do feel like the overall economy is still running way hotter. Like, we went to a little kind of indoor amusement park with the kids, and then we went for lunch, which was nice. Supported a nice local pizzeria, which is nice. And then we went to HomeSense. Yep. We walked out of HomeSense for only the reason that my wife's favorite store, by the way. The only reason we walked out of HomeSense is because the lineup to the till was so long. I was like, there's no way we're going to wait in this for 35 minutes. It was jammed. It was almost shoulder to shoulder in that place.
But just because people are buying things doesn't necessarily mean they have the money to buy them. They're just putting it on credit cards and paying the minimum payment. Like, just because a restaurant's full or people are buying things at HomeSense doesn't mean the economy's not bad. It just means people are in a lot of debt. That actually, I didn't mean to make that a perfect segue, but it is, because I actually ran that poll on my own channel. And I asked people, how much non-mortgage debt do you have? 477 votes. 60% of people said none. I'm guessing most people just didn't include their car in that, because I think most people would have some level of car financing or something. Less than $10,000 in debt was 16%. Between $10,000 and $25,000 of non-mortgage debt, 7%. But over $25,000 of active debt that is non-mortgage was, sorry, I messed it up, was 7% for the last one, was 17%. So there's a lot of people.
Debts are way higher. So whenever we're selling houses for people, quite often, we're like, oh, how much debt do you have? Oh, nothing. And then is when it comes time to buy the next place, they're trying to do the calculations on, how much they have to pay off the car, how much they have to pay off this credit card. Like, people are like, oh, I've only got 10 grand on that credit card. I'm like, do you understand how much you're paying in interest for that? They don't understand. They don't understand.
I think what buyers right now need to understand is that if you locked in a fixed rate and you got 60, 90 days more on it to close on your property, probably time to consider it,
bond
because
yields,
the bond yields are
cranking,
pushing up again over 3. This is something we talked with Adam Nadler about, that he had said, like, there's a real possibility that this could start to happen again, and doesn't really look like rate cuts are going to have.
Like, the fixed rate was going to stay here, and then the
variable would go down.
Variable will go down, but it looks like the variable staying here and the fixed is going to go up, making my 4.09 from 3 months ago looking mighty attractive. Right
I mean, it's not going to push the fixed rate up past 5% again. It's still going to be in the mid 4s, but it will make a difference. I mean, at the current time of us filming, if it goes up more, things could happen.
I think it could be 5.
I doubt it gets back to 5. I doubt it. But what do I know? I'm wrong all the time.
We don't know anything. This is the Tom Storey Show. If you want to know things, go to other shows.
If people have made it almost an hour in, I'm going to give you a quick movie review because it's summertime and you should be going out to the theater once in a while.
Let me guess, a superhero movie?
Yeah. The really? Superhero. Yeah, Superman.
Oh, jeez.
The new one.
Movie choices stink.
I got to say, you don't even know what you're talking about. I bet if you took your kids to this, they'd really enjoy it. It's completely opposite from what the old Superman used to be.
So when I go into, my kids would really enjoy it, and then you would be one of my kids tagging along the end. I'm telling you, you're like a 19-year-old little baby boy going to see all these crappy like DC Marvel.
Do you know how old Superman is? Most of the fan base should be boomers based on when Superman really created popularity. It's been around forever. Also, shout out, one of the 2 co-creators was someone from Toronto named Joe Shuster. And there's a bunch of condos on Joe Shuster Way in Toronto. I didn't know that. Anyways, I liked it. I think it's fun. Totally different. It kind of just throws you into the world, but I would recommend if you're looking for a summer movie. That's the only movie I've seen recently. I heard the Jurassic one was not great, but Superman, go see it. Don't listen to Steve. Don't listen. Go enjoy. Movies are not terrible. Go enjoy yourself.
Do you have those movies? So I do not go to the movies often.
Maybe I can tell.
I went when the Mario one went out for my kids, and then we just recently went to the new Lilo and Stitch because I got girls, right? So these are the movies we're seeing.
Sure.
And I had no idea that now, like, the movie theater is full love seat recliners.
Yeah, man. They're nice.
I had no idea. And then, like, this is blowing my mind. Okay, so there, you can pay for a light and a nightstand type thing beside you and like all this stuff. That's fine. The thing that blew me away, and I'm going to judge you people right now.
You people.
The you people. The amount of people that came in their slippers, pajamas, and had full blankets. Are you in public right now with a blanket? And why do you need to cover up whatever you're doing back there with a blanket? I'm happy that those
Lilo and Stitch
were vinyl and they could easily be. No, but I just listen.
I'm listening.
If you go out in public with pajama pants on and it's not Saturday morning because your toilet seat just broke and you're running to the Ace Hardware, like
that sounds like a very specific
something I made.
Sounds like something you've done.
But like I'm like you don't when you used to go to the movies, and obviously this is 100 years ago, but when movies came out, people were like suit and tie and we're going out. And now people are like, I mean, it is ultimate Wall-E or Idiocracy. It's jumpsuits and that. I just couldn't believe people were coming to the theater with like a duvet over their shoulder.
Who cares? Go to the movies, enjoy what you want to see. Let other people do what they want to do, Steve. Focus on yourself. Don't get so caught up on everybody else. And maybe you'll actually watch the movie and enjoy it.
Yeah, well,
are you frozen? No.
I
thought I broke you. I mean,
there's not very enjoyable movies out there right now.
Go see Superman. I thought it was great. Let's wrap this thing up. I actually have to go. I'm doing CTV in 5 minutes, and I got to put on my suit jacket. The only reason I go on any of these media networks anymore is just to give bad news. That's all I do. They're just like, "What do you think about how bad this is?" I'm like, "Well,
what do you?
You're right. It is pretty bad." But thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for watching. And Stephen, happy belated birthday. My birthday is Wednesday this week. Look at us, summer babies. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Condo sales in some major Canadian markets are continuing to drop to lows not seen in decades. It has some condo owners looking to offload their properties, worried that things will only get worse. Joining me now is Tom Storey, realtor with the Royal LePage Signature Realty. Tom, good morning. Good to see you today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It seems like not long ago, everybody was getting a condo, as many as they could, in some cases, if they could afford it, as a side hustle. And now we're seeing projects being canceled. What has caused the condo market really to bottom out?
Yeah, so for the new condo sales, they're at numbers we haven't seen in 20, 25 years for number of properties actually selling. You're seeing tons of cancellations. And basically what has happened is that investor-focused condo market, which really was the new construction side of the market, because for these developers to start building, in most cases, they had to sell out 70% of the units to put a shovel in the ground. And when you look at who's willing to wait 4 or 5 years to move into a property that they're going to buy, and yes, there's maybe some downsizers, maybe a handful of first-time home buyers, but really investors were driving that market. They were buying them, they were holding them as investment properties over a period of time. But investors really want maybe at least one of two things. They want cash flow or capital appreciation. We are in a market condition now where neither of those things are very realistic, at least in the medium term. And then all that demand that used to be there for this new construction project is just not what it used to be.
So how has this downturn affected pricing for, say, new condos versus resale?
Yeah, the new condos have always been a premium versus the resale properties. Right now, based on the new data that has come out, it's still about $300 more expensive per square foot to buy new construction. So you are paying a premium, and then you got to wait 5 years. So we have seen overall come down a bit, but there's also a lot of purchasers that bought new construction in 2021, 2022 that's being delivered this year. And the GTA, we have over 30,000 condos being delivered to people that bought them in previous years. A lot of them are not worth what they paid. And then on the resale market, which is really its own kind of discussion on the side here, we have a ton of inventory. In the short term, we don't need more condos in the city of Toronto. We have the most that we've ever had for sale at one period of time. My only concern into the future is that you can't just snap your finger and build a building. It takes several years. So if we're not selling anything now, we'll start to see how this really impacts things into really 2027, 2028, and into the 2030s.
Okay, what really stands out for me is that you just said we don't need any more condos in Toronto. When you think about the housing crisis that we're in, so how do you square that circle?
Yeah, so I mean, right now we have enough condos. It's very clear in the inventory data, and it's been like that for a long period of time. I think what I've been really focused on recently is did we build the product that people actually want? I'm seeing in my own business right now, there's hundreds of condos for sale under a certain price point that people could afford to buy, but instead they're competing on the semi-detached home in a single family neighborhood because that's what they actually want. So yes, we do. You look at what prices have done over the last 25 years. It's very clear we had an inventory issue. Right now, we're sitting with the type of inventory where the demand for that inventory always was an investor. So I think what we really have to focus on in the future is building the type of homes and condos that families actually want to buy and use as end users, not just strictly investments.
Interesting. So maybe not those teeny tiny condos that a lot of people got. I want to ask you lastly, is this a buying opportunity, do you think, for those who are maybe want to be investors or want to enter the market, Tom?
With a long-term perspective, you could make that argument, but I still think there's some time here and investors can kind of sit quietly on the sidelines and watch how everything plays out. In the resale market, what we're telling all of our buyers, if you're going to buy a condo right now, we don't know what the next 2 years are going to look like. Prices could continue to go downwards. And we're seeing this big trend right now. The property type that's selling the best right now in the city of Toronto for condos is actually 2 bedrooms and 2+ dens. So it's very clear to me that people want space. And the question is going to be into the future, do developers actually start building the type of units people want versus the type that investors wanted?
Amazing how the pendulum swings. Tom Storey, great to have you with us today. Tom is a realtor with Royal LePage Signature Realty.